Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of 4Player Podcast. My name is Nick Henderson. I am a writer and co-founder over at 4Player Network. If this is your first time listening, please look for us on iTunes and subscribe. Doing so will keep you up to date with not only this podcast, but our sister shows Cocktail Time and Audible Impressions as well. If you haven't already, swing by the website at 4playernetwork.com and join our gaming community by signing up for a free account. And last but not least, please don't forget to tune in every night over at 4pp.tv to watch us broadcast games, record podcasts, and interact with the community. But enough about that, it's time to talk about video games. Let's get started.
Cinco segundos de silencio.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. It's day 3 of E3 2013. My name is Nick Henderson, and I am joined by Brad Simons.
That's me.
Joseph Christ.
Hello.
And Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
And we're here to talk about video games we've played or seen played at E3. Today is day 2 of the show floor. We have one more day to go. Today we're going to talk about such wonderful games as The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, The Witcher 3, The Evil Within, and others, which we will get to. So,
Should I play Dragon's Crown? Play it on PS3 at the the Atlas booth. I saw that and I was like, should I play that?
I enjoyed what I played of it on the Vita.
Don't play it on Vita. It's too.
I won't do that.
Tiny.
I won't do that. But I'm thinking it's sort of like a Golden Axe, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's start. Brad and I will start
I have
because
similar hesitations that I do to Ninja Turtles, but I think there might be RPG elements there and stuff.
Okay.
And the artwork, of course, is fantastic.
It's really good. Yeah.
it's quite beautiful. Anyways, so Brad and I rushed over to the Nintendo booth this morning as soon as the doors opened because we had. So what Nintendo is doing is they have this like merry-go-round of prizes they give away, and that, as far as we were concerned, that looked like the only way you could play Zelda.
Which
So
is annoying.
and the line is ridiculous, obviously, because there was swag.
Wasn't so bad for us. Actually, we got more done in
that
the
line.
first 45 minutes than like most people.
It's amazing. So we jumped in line. We were still a little back, so we had to wait a little bit. But we're sitting there waiting, and while we're waiting, we're standing right in front of the Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze booth. And the lady was like, "You want to play while you wait?" And we're like, "Sure." So Brad and I played some co-op Donkey Kong Country. Brad, what did you think of?
It's a pretty fucking Donkey Kong-ass Donkey Kong game. I mean, it's safe.
It's safe. It is not what we were hoping to see from Retro.
And you still got to shake to roll.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes, fucking terrible. No, bad, no.
I don't know. I didn't have many problems.
Fucking roll up a newspaper and bop them on the nose. No.
I didn't have many problems with the controls per se. I mean,
Yeah, but
things
you know
that I
what?
need to
Just
do-
wait till it gets harder. Here's a fucking point I have to make. A lot of these demos for Nintendo games are from like level 1, level 1,
Yeah.
2. Like easy ass fucking thing. And all these games that we played were super, super fucking easy. The next fucking 3 games, or next couple games we have to talk about, are also the same problem. First level, first dungeon, like really easy shit, and it makes me and none of that's like that's not the stuff that gets people excited. And in fact, most people when they play a Nintendo game, they're just assuring other people, just wait, it'll get harder. Just get through the first couple of worlds.
Hey, how much of Donkey Kong Country Returns did you play?
We played like what, 2 levels? Oh, Returns?
Returns.
Oh, I played the first world with David co-op, and we were like, this is stupid.
So they're structuring their demos with just the very early basic levels. There's not like one training level and then there's one more challenging
No,
level.
well,
The only thing in Nintendo that had a variety of levels was
No. Remember,
3D World.
The first
Mario
thing we
3D
did.
World.
The first thing we did when they booted up Donkey Kong Country was they let us choose between 4 different levels.
Oh, but that's
Okay.
because all the other ones were like a boss fight, a
It was like
minecart level.
platforming, minecart level, boss fight, and one other one.
The only regular platforming level was 1-1.
Yeah, so we played 1-1. And there's not. It's hard to talk about that game without. I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot. It's different. So.
There's a lot more destructibility in this one versus Returns.
Yeah.
Like, you can slap and destroy a lot of stuff.
Do they?
And they have this like pull mechanic, so you can see these like rings sticking out of the ground. You can grab the rings and then you like pull up. You hold two of the buttons and like jerk the control and he pulls it up.
You
And
know,
I don't know. It's
To be honest, we've already talked too much about this game.
so-
It's not bad, but
I just have a
it's
few questions.
super
about
predictable and safe.
it.
What are your questions?
So I haven't played a Donkey Kong Country game since like the very first one.
This
So
would be a
it's-
good one to play.
It is
Yeah.
okay.
There's nothing
Are-
bad about
are
these
the-
games. They're just,
Are the animals in there the ones that you can control and ride on and all that?
They call them chimps. Wait, who?
like
Like
there's-
the swordfish or the rhino.
like the
or-
rhino. Yeah, I think all that stuff's still in there.
They are.
It wasn't Returns. I
I mean,
believe.
it's a retro game, so they're very much about
the swordfish. Yeah.
going back to the source
bird.
material. So yeah, this game feels very much like a classic Donkey Kong Country game. The demos we played didn't have any animals to ride, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're in there.
Okay.
And then, while I was waiting in line, I was only waiting in this long line because I wanted to play A Link to the Past 2, because I love A Link to the Past. And while we were waiting in line so I can go play A Link to the Past, some woman comes up with 2 3DSs strapped to her because Nintendo's fucked up, and and she's like, "Here, would you like to play A Link to the Past 2?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? What am I waiting in line for? What? Okay." So then I played A Link to the Past 2. There's actually 2 demonstrations they have. One is just overworld shit, and the other one's in one of the dungeons. So I played through all the overworld stuff that they had
We both played
attached to
Okay.
a young lady.
it.
So she was anchored in place while you're just playing a 3DS right there.
Yes.
Yes.
She couldn't walk away from us.
That's wrong.
It's
Do you
wrong.
not? Were you? Wait.
It's always women too.
Were
It's
you
never
not at
guys.
E3 when they announced the 3DS? Because that's exactly what
Yeah.
happened when
Yeah, I remember that, but that was just like for that one event, and that was like maybe 20 minutes. Okay. No, they're doing that for all of E3. That is
Yeah,
What
but
the hell,
they probably
It's
get
Nintendo?
weird.
pretty-
The
they-
second
they get paid pretty well.
the second young lady that we
Wait, we didn't talk about Zelda.
Sorry,
This is
we were talking
Zelda.
about the young ladies we were
it's fucking
strapped to.
indentured servitude, pretty much.
The
Yeah.
second young lady had a mouth on her.
Oh, hey,
Now,
get
don't
into
take that the
Joe.
wrong way. I mean, she was like kind of vulgar for a.
It's more like a sailor.
No, she what did she say?
She was making she was making that's what she said jokes and
Oh, what did I say?
I don't remember.
I said something crude, and I was thinking it, and then she said that's what she said, and then she apologized.
But then she made some other comment that I was just like, what this.
The
You
Legend
were
of Zelda: A Link to the Past 2 is what we're talking about.
Like,
now.
don't you remember the first time they showed the 3DS off at Nintendo?
That's
at
what
the
we
end?
just said.
That's what I just said.
I thought you were talking about the show.
Well, they sent out a
the
bevy of young
conference.
ladies,
Cavalcade.
a cavalcade of young ladies. with
Enough
women.
with the fucking ladies.
I mean, they
No
were
one
they were
cares
practically
about
doing the
ladies.
can.
Let's
when
talk
this
about the
first time.
ladies.
The only thing that's good about the ladies is when you're always hanging out over the Nintendo booth, you always see like some nerd is trying to like talk to one of them. Like,
It's really
She was making
embarrassing.
comments about because I was standing right in front of the TV showing the Pokemon X and Y stuff, and she
I
was
was
making
like-
comments about
I was just
Pokemon, and I was
thinking-
just like, "Yep."
I was just like, stop trying.
I chatted up more booth ladies today than I played video games.
Well, they're paid to be nice to you, so.
Wow.
Just like most of the women.
Fuck you.
I'm not trying to
Chris.
be mean, but
Chris, just like most of the women in your life.
no, hey,
Wow.
Chris, I wasn't being
We
mean.
love you. Chris.
I wasn't being mean. This guy, that's cruel.
That was cruel. to her
Actually,
right there.
I made a friend. Thank you very much.
I'm not saying. I'm
Ooh.
saying they literally.
A lady friend.
Someone in chat goes, "Shots fired."
I'm saying you could be like the biggest little like fat Nintendo nerd going up, going. So what's your favorite Pokemon? And they have to be nice to you. That's what they're paid to do.
No, it's kinda
I
true.
helped out this one woman who was working at Ubisoft, and she had no idea what this French Ubisoft developer had said to her. And so I was walking her through what she was supposed to tell people for the entire day. Okay? I was being nice.
Did you slide him like, Madame, I know French.
No, this is great. Emily just goes in chat. She goes in quotes, "I made a friend. Space. One friend."
Wow.
You are being rude. Okay.
This is very
funny.
rude.
All I want to do is talk
And then-
about Zelda. Everyone, shut the fuck up. It's Zelda.
And then when I was at Bethesda, I sat down while I was waiting for him to finish his exclusive, as in nobody else got to see it, Evil Within impressions. And I sat down with this woman for a nice 20 minutes, and we talked about just the state of the industry and Walking Dead and all sorts of stuff.
You were just the Don Juan of E3.
I
Chris.
was.
Chris Davis is the Don Juan of E3. All right, Brad.
Right.
No more
I'm
delays.
not talking shit about your
Ladies
Bethesda
swing-
connection.
Oh, I thought you were going to say ladies.
I think you might have something there.
That's actually a movie, Bethesda Connection, I think.
I'm telling you, you go back and you say, I said I came for Wolfenstein, but I really came for you. That would be the best.
Okay.
Let's ask the ladies in chat if that would work.
Honey, you pushed on the walls till you found the secret room of my heart.
Oh my God. For the love of Jesus, talk about a link to
For
the past.
fuck's sake, A Link to
You
the Past. This is a really good
A
game.
link between worlds, first off.
The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, A
No,
Link
it's not
Between
even
Worlds.
doesn't even have a link to the past.
A Link
in it.
Between Worlds. But it is a sequel to A Link
Despite-
to the Past.
Despite the fact that it's essentially a Link to the Past 1.5.
It is the same overworld with small modifications. I mean,
Pisses me off.
the part I played, like when she handed me the 3DS, it was Link right outside his house, and all the area sort of leading up to the first temple, at least in the original game, was all the same, with some small areas. There were some heart pieces, there were chests, there were some elevation differences and stuff, but it's pretty much the same world. The thing about this game is, as soon as I started playing it, I felt right at home. It's something to be said about how nice and smooth this game controls and plays.
So
In a way that we haven't actually seen a 2D Zelda game be played like this in a long time, because even the ones on DS where you use touch controls, it just felt really, really, really smooth, nice, fast, and responsive. I liked very much so the way it played.
So I have a few questions about it.
Yeah.
Number one, how much of the overworld were you allowed to explore?
It blocked you off with giant rocks.
Okay.
So like literally the space, the screens you would walk to get to the first dungeon area, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Off to the east to get the first pendant or whatever.
Okay. What? I mean, so you couldn't even go to Kakariko, for example?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
You at least were able to go in like the Forest Glen, right?
No, it was off in the east side.
Oh, it was. I thought you
Yeah.
said you started at Link's house.
A Link's house, but then you went east.
Okay.
Um,
and
Is that really a pickup line?
What is the pickup line?
Hey, feel this material. Doesn't that feel like great boyfriend material?
oh, that's a good line.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
Oh,
my
it never worked.
how
but
would,
it's
how would
not
somebody
bad.
say that out loud without laughing?
Stop.
You need more Wolfenstein.
So-
hey, baby, you want to see my Spear of Destiny?
I don't think that would work either.
Oh, it's a Wolfenstein pickup line. There's got to be more Wolfenstein pickup lines.
More like going with that. Hey, baby, you want to feel up my lance of long guyness?
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what the Spirit of Destiny is called, the lance of long.
Oh,
So
Oh,
here's
so you that
here's why
was
Zelda.
way too Lori for me.
Here's another reason why Zelda played so well. One, no longer are you going back to your menu constantly, because now you can map multiple sub weapons to your four various face buttons. The left trigger actually brings up a shield, and you actually block by pressing a button to hold up a shield. There's no roll from what I could tell, but
No, I
everything else. Your full hearts, you could shoot a sword beam, you could charge to do a sword attack, but everything is just so fast and responsive. It looked like 60 frames a second even with 3D on, which seemed really crazy to me. I can't
It looks really
explain
good.
enough how good this game looked with the 3D on. I hate 3D on my 3DS. I never play with 3D on my 3DS.
That's kind of
But this entire time, both demos, I had the 3D on all the way because it looked really nice.
So is this supposed to be like just another game set in the Link to Past
It
world?
is a 2D Zelda game in the Link to the Past world.
But is it a direct sequel? Is it a prequel? What is
that
this?
I don't know.
They're treating
Honestly,
it,
I don't care. I don't care about Zelda lore.
I think they're
There's
treating,
a lot of people that actually do.
Yeah, but those are weirdies.
You look at the sales numbers of the Hyrule Historia, and I will beg to differ, sir.
Yeah, that's true.
the demo they showed wasn't really put there to give you context as to how it connects to the Link to the Past.
I understand that, but I at least want to know what the fuck is going
Brett,
on.
this is the second time we've talked about this game and done impressions that you haven't mentioned the core mechanic of the game and how cool it
I was
is.
getting to that, but I keep being interrupted.
Oh,
So
sorry.
I guess one of the core new mechanics, and I don't know if this is like something you pick up in a temple later in the game, or if you just start the game with it, but you have the ability to go up to any wall. Now this isn't just in a temple, this isn't just certain walls. This is pretty much any wall in the game, even in the overworld. You go up to it, you hit A, and you flatten yourself alongside of it, and instead of just like a flat isometric game, it offers like a whole new dimension. And you turn into a little like cave drawing Link from the very much like the Zelda from the intro to Wind Waker.
Yep.
And
In fact, I think it's exactly what it is.
And the crazy part about it is when you're trying to get secrets in the overworld, or when you're trying to solve puzzles in dungeons, it's mind-boggling how much you sort of have to change your way of thinking, especially somebody like me who's played so many 2D Zelda games. You know, it looked and felt instantly familiar with me, but then this whole mechanic just really kind of blew my mind in some ways. Like, I'm in this room and I'm completely stuck, and I'm like, well, this is an impossible room. And then I attach myself to the brick, and I actually follow the brick through a window outside, and now I'm outside and riding on platforms, and it's really clever.
And really clever use of the 3D too. Like you have to hit these you have to pound these things into the ground with your hammer, and then stand on them, and then pound the ground to get them to like pop back out and shoot you up in the air. So when you're in 3D mode, it really creates a sense of going from one floor to the next, because you're shooting out of the screen. And in a regular 2D game,
you're
really
popping up, and the 3D looks really good.
Yeah,
and some of the enemies,
great.
like the spider enemies that hop around in Zelda games, are like hopping up into the screen, and the 3D makes that look really good as
Oh,
well.
that's kind of neat. Yeah, I like that.
I can't stress enough how
They're called trip lights or something.
Yeah, something like that. Just how well the game played, how smooth it felt and responsive. I was instantly at home. I just wanted to I felt like I could take on fucking Ganon right then and there.
That's
as
good.
stupid as that sounds.
It looks cool though.
That makes total sense.
I am eager to play this game.
And my only concern, and it's a big one, is that I'm afraid this game might be too easy.
It is hard to gauge that though, based on a small snippet.
And I could see Nintendo going, "Oh, it'll get hard," but I don't want the first half of the game to be a fucking cakewalk. You know, the fucking, you know, the third, fourth of the game to be slightly difficult, and the last part being kind of hard. I want like a throwback Link to the Past difficulty, like challenging Zelda game.
I'm worried that it's just going to be too much of a rehash.
I
think you'll go under the bridge. You'll get the bottle. I think you go to the swordsmith and get the super sword.
No. That temple you went into was completely different.
Yeah, but
Like it didn't even look like that temple. It actually more resembled the Tower of Hera, which was a temple you did like much later.
it featured the caterpillar boss that went around when he had hit the tail.
Yes, but that dungeon was completely different. Like, again, I can't stress enough how much this attaching to the wall mechanic completely changes the way you think about 2D Zelda. Like it's really different. And I mean, the dungeons, they're not even, like, honestly, the one that they played in the demo was a little simplistic, but like the mechanics are different. You had the hammer and you could like smash on those things like you said, but it's a new object. It's all about popping you up to the higher floor. Like there was nothing like that in A Link to the Past.
Okay, so
I feel like this game is going to strike a really nice balance between nostalgia and just honestly fresh new content.
you want to know how they would honestly surprise me with this game?
Yeah.
If they kept the original world just the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking they might do.
But the Dark World completely fucking different
Trippy.
from what they put out. From the original version of Link to the Past, completely fucking different.
But I mean, if all the secrets and everything are different, and they are, like we already saw some like heart pieces that were not anywhere near anything. In fact, you had to use your little wall flattening ability to even get to them. Then it really is going to kind of feel like a different world. It honestly reminds me of like there a lot of Castlevania games, for example, especially the Metroidvania ones. A lot of them, they had like a clock tower with spinning gears and stuff and Medusa heads. Like all of them had that, but they were rearranged in like different ways that like it never felt the same. It was always a thing like a comfort, like, oh, the clock tower. This is what I remember. I love this. It reminds you of the stuff you used to love, but it's different enough to still be exciting.
Just a technical question.
Yeah.
Does it still use the segmented screens where you just go to the end, it would load the next area? Or
It does. It does do that.
Really?
It does. It doesn't scroll.
See, I would want it to just be fully seamless in that regard. Load into buildings. That's
See,
fine,
now
but
that is something, of course, they have the capabilities of doing.
they should.
But they chose not to. And I'm wondering if again it's to stay to the nostalgia of the original Link to the Past.
I think they're banking really hard on nostalgia here.
Because like remember the first Animal Crossing had those like Zelda style segmented screens, and they eventually went to full scrolling. with the first DS one, but
They should.
again, it feels and plays completely different. Like all your sub weapons aren't tied to like counts; they're tied to a meter which recharges over time. So you never have to worry about running outside of a dungeon to get a couple more arrows because you need to have them to like fight the boss. It's all about like meter management, which is completely different for Zelda. And a lot of the sub weapons you can like kind of charge them up and stuff. It looks familiar, but it feels and plays new.
I would be genuinely really interested in this game if it was like a full on sequel. I want to know what happens after Link defeated Ganon.
Honestly, yeah. Maybe I don't really care about the story.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
But I'm definitely getting this, obviously. But yeah, I think you should maybe too.
Well, right after we played Zelda, we also we can cover these ones really quick because they're also playing it very safe. We played Yoshi's New Island, which is a weird.
I didn't even
name
hear
for
about
the game.
that.
Yoshi's New Island.
They didn't talk about that at Nintendo Direct.
They brought it up.
No, they talked about it on when the same Nintendo Direct earlier in the year that they announced Link to the Past 2.
Right.
They also announced this.
Okay.
This is the one that we played while attached to the young lady who was kind of vulgar.
There was like nothing new here. With
No,
the Yoshi's
it's
Island thing.
really. I mean, it once again looks really good.
Mhm.
If you like Yoshi's Island, it's going to be very
Let's call
nostalgic
him
for you.
Loshi.
What?
Let's call him Loshi.
My bad. Did I say Loshi?
Yeah, but I like that though.
At this
Loshi.
rate, we're gonna get a second Yoshi Story
Lushy.
game, and this
Yoshi
I
and
don't want
Loshi. We can do like a
You don't want
Mario and
Yoshi's
Luigi.
story again?
that. No,
I loved Yoshi's
I
story.
fucking hated Yoshi Story.
No one
You're
likes
such a-
Yoshi's story.
I liked Yoshi's story.
You were a
The
young
song
child.
of the Yoshis was
why I
the
s-
most painful thing to experience in your life.
No, really.
All right.
I
Well,
thought
You play this on a loop
we
in
don't
10
talk much
minutes
about
and
Yoshi's
you'll
Island.
turn a man
Tell me about
insane.
Mario and Luigi because I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah,
one.
so when I got to the little merry-go-round, I played Mario and Luigi's Dream Team. Once again, they give you the choice between two different. You can play the real world, the dream world, or a boss fight. And I should have picked the dream world. I played the real world. I mean, it works.
Oh, that's weird.
it's
You chose not to do the Dream World?
I completely. I didn't even know what the name of the game was when I played it. So I was like, "What's the dream world?" I didn't even think about it. So I just figured I want to see what the open world is like or whatever. So I picked that, and then I realized, oh yeah, this is the one where you're in dreams. Fuck, I should have done
Like
that.
Luigi's like a god inside of his dreams.
Yeah,
That's
so
what's so cool about
I
him.
should have played that. I didn't. Maybe I'll go back tomorrow and no, it's
No,
on that
because
damn
that stupid
thing.
merry-go-round thing.
But anyways, I mean, it plays a little bit like the other Mario and Luigi. You're controlling both Mario and Luigi at the same time, and you attack with Mario with B and and Luigi with A, or vice versa, or whatever. It's weird though. If you attack with Luigi while he's running behind you, he'll pull out a little mallet and he'll hit Mario into the ground, which is weird. I don't know.
Oh, that's for puzzle solving. You never played a Mario and Luigi game before?
No, I did. I played Bowser's Inside Story.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of the stuff
That's actually been in since the first one, Superstar Saga.
I mean, a lot of the stuff they introduced and the old ones is still present here. It's once again playing it very safe. That's in the real world. It might be vastly different in the dream world. I wish I would have played the dream world, but everything that I saw here was very traditional
okay.
Mario and Luigi. So not much to talk about there. Let's see, what else did we play? I played the Wind Waker HD. Do you want me to talk about that? Is there anything? That game just looks fucking gorgeous.
It's Wind Waker 16.
You know, in the booth.
a little.
In the what?
Clean up graphics a little.
Not just a little. Dude, they have the HD version, and they have a TV set up next to it playing the GameCube version side by side.
Really?
Yeah, and it's the most ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous update.
Okay.
What?
I mean, Carlos said there was a Twisted Metal question at trivia night tonight, or trivia tonight.
Oh, bummer.
Damn it!
Anyways,
Sorry.
I don't know. Wind Waker looks gorgeous. It's
it does.
It's
It looks
beautiful.
really-
it's vibrant. The controls work really well.
Vibrant and fresh. As
The
Gordon Ramsay would say.
you can play the game completely on the whatever the tablet controller on the Wii U. I didn't get a chance to go out on the open sea, which I kind of regret. I ran out of time. They give you 10 minutes, and I was too busy fucking around and playing with the combat. And
So do you use the Wii controller to make the motions of the
I didn't even
Waker?
get to that part.
That would have been
Really?
nice.
The part that they demoed is the part where you start off on the island and you don't even have a sword yet.
Mhm.
So I was exploring Outset Island or whatever they call it.
Because I mean, that they could make that into an interesting mechanic. I mean, just get rid of the down, left, whatever arrows, and just make you do patterns with the Wiimote.
With the Wii. No, this is played with the controller. I mean, the tablet. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this has Wii remote controls. This is tablet controls. And I would imagine you use a stylus.
That would actually be perfect for that, though.
Yeah.
The conducting with the Wiimote.
Well, if they do, they didn't have a Wii remote there to play with.
I imagine it's probably playable. Unless you're using the screen for stuff.
So in the development of Wind Waker, they cut out a whole island and 2 whole dungeons.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering if that's going to be in there.
I want to know.
They said there was going to be some new content.
I think it would have to be that restored content.
That's almost like too much for Nintendo.
I feel like
that's too ambitious.
That's asking too much, I think. Maybe we'll get one of those missing dungeons.
Make the Triforce Quest.
I mean, even if it's just to give us a tool that we never use again, like the fucking spinning top in Twilight Princess, I think
Twilight Princess is the best 3D Zelda game.
He looks right at me and says, "Fuck you." It's okay if you're wrong, Brad.
It's no Majora's Mask.
It had
that's okay.
the best dungeons with the best sub weapons.
You're welcome to think that,
Okay. I'll leave it at that on Wind Waker. Joseph,
Yes.
what did you play today?
Oh my God!
Jesus
I
fuck.
played some.
Yeah, you lament him and then you do it right into the microphone.
I played some the new DayZ, standalone DayZ. Which is pretty interesting.
It's not bad.
It is DayZ. It looks well. See, it's hard to say it looks better because I've always played it on my shitty computer. So maybe I just played it on a good computer today.
Yeah, I guess that may be the
It
case
looks
for
a
me
lot
too.
better playing it on their computer.
It's a lot smoother, at least with the frame rate.
The frame rate is smoother. They've made a lot of UI changes. So the HUD.
Thank God.
The HUD
Jesus fuck, the UI is so bad in the original DayZ.
Well, the HUD.
They pretty much removed the UI.
Well, the HUD is gone, pretty much. Like all the indicators of sound and how
peripheral vision,
all that stuff, they're all gone.
Yeah.
There's literally 3 things on the bottom. There's your gun and like 2 maps. And these just seem to be hotkeys, really, that can probably do anything. So it's pretty interesting. We were supposed to do an interview with somebody, and then he's like, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
And we waited
15 or 20 minutes went by, and then I went to look for him, and I'm like, hey, you're supposed to do an interview with this dude, and he disappeared, and she's like, oh, he's in a meeting.
Oh, I thought you were saying he died 10 years ago.
He died 10 years ago. I was like, what?
There never was a DayZ.
The ghost of E3.
Yes.
When did you get so good at doing that fucking voice?
I can do that on occasion.
But
Not like Joseph.
But it's pretty good. And they showed off some of the new inventory screens, and they're much better laid out now.
So
they're
much better.
Completely redesigned.
Drag and drop it's just
it's all drag and drop now. There's a crafting system which I saw a little bit of from watching people play. There's interesting things like you can find different types of water, and some water will be spoiled, and you'll have tablets that will
clean them.
Clean the water. Basically.
They'll sanitize
the water. So like sanitation pills and stuff.
So I mean, there'll be like I think you can even get seawater at one point, but I mean, I saw a bottle with it was labeled pond water.
Right.
And maybe there's lake water and all that, tap water. But
standing water, even if you boil, it's still pretty dangerous.
But they do have tablets and stuff that they have these. Oh, not to get off subject, but they have these straws now that will clean the water as it goes into you, sanitize, and they give them out in third world countries.
Yeah,
and people can drink right through rivers, and from the time it goes from the river to your mouth, whatever's inside that straw sanitizes the water to pure form, and you can drink it.
This is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they give
there's some incredible water purification technology.
That sounds expensive.
We only give them to third world countries. I don't know if it works that well.
We don't need them here.
We don't need them here. All we need are desalination plants. That's
Are we going to talk about water?
Anyway,
it's kind of an interesting topic, though.
Are they long straws?
We're not here to talk about interesting things.
They're long,
like pixies.
They're long and
they're long and
the big ones. They're long and twisty. But anyway, so it's got a lot of good improvements. I can't wait for it to come out. Demoing a game like DayZ at E3. It doesn't really do it justice. It's basically doing it like that is for people who already know what DayZ is, because you're missing, number one, the huge social component.
Yeah.
And to really get into DayZ, you need to be playing hours. I mean, DayZ comes alive when you've been playing for hours and you suddenly have something invested in this character, and now you have to creep across this road on your stomach.
Yeah, all it demonstrates is the basic mechanics of the game, the zombies and the exploration and just trying to stay alive as long as you can. But I mean, I think this would have been demoed much better. I mean, they've got like 4 or 5 stations
They would
set up
have
for
been
this.
multiplayer. Like,
If it was set up to where it was just a segmented area of like
Mhm.
one city, say like Chernogorsk,
mhm.
just do that. Boom, you have that. You'll get a mini DayZ experience.
But you know what? I bet like that, it might even just turn into like people shooting each other like crazy.
With 5 stations though, only 5 people playing, I think that would make sense.
Maybe not. Yeah. So anyway, much improved. I'm looking forward to playing this new version. I don't think I know. They didn't say anything when it was coming out.
No, I would.
Um,
The alpha, it's going to come this year.
Yeah.
I would expect it probably before the end of the summer at this
Right.
rate. They, as far as I know, we want to set up an interview with them. We're going to maybe try again tomorrow. You think?
Yeah, we'll try to get tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, we want to know about the dogs. We want to know about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Possibly dogs.
Yeah, they've been teasing it for a while now.
Dogs.
Yeah,
Possibly dogs.
full on dogs. But they've rewritten the AI pathing for the zombies.
Well, there's some weird things going on with the zombies because I got to a point, and it was actually a cool little DayZ moment, where a zombie starts coming at me. He's coming at me, and I'm waiting for him to get close so I can get my shot off. He gets midway between me and another building. I lift up my gun, and click, 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 and I was out of ammo. I didn't even know it.
yeah.
Fuck! So I turn around and I start running. And, there's some weird stuff with not just pathfinding, but hit detection, because I was getting hit by zombies that I thought were pretty far behind me.
Yeah, that's got to be a bug.
And
They're still working on that.
Yeah, so there's some oddness with that going.
But I mean, the zombies are a lot more terrifying now. They can actually chase you into buildings and run in the building.
Mhm.
That changes the pace of a lot of the
Well,
game.
they don't get stuck in doorways anymore.
Yeah, which was the lifesaver. It saves so many lives. But the zombies, they've also redone the animations for them.
Mhm.
And so if they're running after you and you're running away, sometimes if they get close enough, they will do a flying leap on you to hit you.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty scary the first time that happens.
If I've never played DayZ, would this be a good time to go play it?
No, because you're not getting the full. You're not getting the full experience. If you're the first time you need to play DayZ is going to be with us in a group together.
Yeah, you're going to
exploring
want to play
around.
with a group. That you will not. I don't think you would be really satisfied if you played alone.
If you just walk
Probably
up,
not.
if you just walk up to that booth and play DayZ for the first time, you would wonder what the big deal is. It doesn't look like anything.
I mean, playing on your own outside that booth, at least in my experience, the first time, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was amazingly terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to play with friends. I say if you want to get the DayZ experience right now, we should load up the latest update, which is like 1774 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we load up a whole new map. Try something different out, like DayZ Origins, and try those out.
Maybe those mods of the mod.
Oh yeah, the mods of the mod, which offer new maps, expanded buildings, every single element of the game that Bohemia is actually trying to update and fix. The community's already done in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah, but it was pretty good.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
it
do a
was fun.
DayZ night sometime.
In short, I don't think so, Nick.
I finally played Killer is Dead.
yes,
Oh yes, tell us about that.
I wrote a little impressions piece. It's up at 4playernetwork.com, so read that. But it's really good. The combat is really tight. The combat it's got some pretty interesting deep mechanics. I know that Brad talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the slashing feels good, the parrying and the dodging feels good. When you dodge and your timing is perfect, it'll enter this sort of slowed down witch time sort of thing. It doesn't feel really as responsive as Bayonetta's witch time, but it's still pretty cool. When you're in that position, you can do multiple strong attacks while time is slowed down, or you can do these execution moves if you have enough execution juice in your juice bar.
Execution juice.
I don't remember what it's called, but if you have enough juice in
I
your
hope it's
bar,
not execution juice.
you can do these 4 different execution moves, which are instant kills. It's a lot of fun to play. You also have a mechanical arm that can shoot, and it can shoot one of 4 different weapons.
which it just looked like a take on the Bionic Commando arm.
Except it doesn't have a grappling.
It morphs.
Yeah.
One of them can actually change into a giant drill.
Yeah, like a BioShock heavy Big Daddy drill, which is pretty neat.
So,
But it's really a lot of fun. And one thing I was actually worried about, it has a really ultra stylized art style. And I was kind of worried that it was so stylized that when things started getting crazy, you'd really have a hard time figuring out what was going on.
Yeah.
And there are little moments when you gotta understand, it's a Suda game, and there's crazy shit happens no matter what you're doing. Just hitting a guy
Did
with
you
slashing
die?
him, crazy shit. I died once.
So
and
did
then
that girl
the
come
girl
out?
so when you die, you fall down, and when you want to restart, this little Japanese girl goes, "Oh no!" And she runs out and she starts pounding on your chest, and you have to hit the square button really fast. And she pounds on your chest, and that's her doing CPR and brings you back to life.
Oh wow, that's
Mika,
cool.
I think she's like a nurse.
Yeah.
You have to buy Mika tickets. She said to
To
if you
get her to
wanna-
come back.
Yeah.
So everyone knows. And then I did a boss fight, and the boss fight was fine. I kind of like Suda 51's boss fights. I think they're always pretty enjoyable. to
They're
a
hit or
degree.
miss, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're
But-
always colorful.
They're always fun. But I mean, I was not a fan of Lollipop Chainsaw. I loved it up until I played it, basically. And this combat is worlds apart, worlds better than Lollipop Chainsaw.
That's not hard though.
So I'm really impressed. So going back to Brad's story yesterday in the Gigolo mode, that type of thing. So I was, there was this really sweet girl helping me out. I don't remember her name, but she's, oh yeah, we were talking
She was
about
very
stuff.
nice.
She's very nice. And I finished the demo, and she's like, okay, well, there's this other mode. It's called Gigolo mode, and I was like, oh no, that's okay.
Let me stop you right there.
I have an appointment, which kind of was a little bit of a white
Why
lie.
does she have to be a sweet girl? Why can't she be a strong woman?
It's just she was so sweet and so nice. I couldn't bear to put her through going through Gigolo mode with me. I just did not
Because what if she didn't
want.
fully know the extent of that?
I know she knew. She'd been helping people all day.
By this
I
time,
think.
she should be fully aware.
But I
of what's
felt like
going on.
this girl needs a reprieve. I'm gonna go get some light lunch. I was like,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
And all the time he was eating that lunch, he was thinking
Yeah.
about, oh man, I should have tried Gigolo mode.
I had my own personal.
He's sitting there
Gigolo
eating
mode.
a sandwich like, why did I say no?
Ooh, 2 halves of this. So anyway, but I liked it. I did see some of the Gigolo mode up close. It's so ridiculous. It is
Yes.
ridiculous. It's unnecessary.
He may have taken it a little too far this time.
It may be. I think. I'm sort of
I've been
torn.
thinking about it.
Mhm.
If it's Gigolo mode,
Mhm.
that means they're going to him for sex?
The point of Gigolo mode seems to be, and I can't believe we're having
He's
this
a
conversation, is that you have to seduce this woman, and if you seduce her all the way, get, I suppose, a seduction meter up, she gives you a weapon or an item, right?
Because that's how the world works.
But part of this is you have to stare at her breasts and vagina for some strange reason, but only do it when she's looking away, because if she catches you too much, she'll slap you. So I don't know why you can't do the seduction without looking at her breasts and
is it-
crotch. Why can't you just buy her nice things?
Is it weird?
Take her out to dinner, maybe.
Yeah, that's what you do
nice
in Yakuza,
coffee.
but you still stare at her breasts.
Yeah, but it's not part of the gameplay though. In
I
Yakuza.
feel-
absolutely.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Yakuza.
I feel like it's weird that
Like in
you-
Yakuza, you sing well at karaoke and they start falling for you.
No, I'm telling you, I played lots of these.
I'm
games.
sure. No, I believe you. I believe you.
I feel like it's weird that you're looking at her vagina.
And you don't look at her vagina. They don't show. So you put. So then you
Not
also
at her like fucking.
Because
vagina.
I've never
like-
found myself
you
trying.
trying to look at a woman's
I've never-
vagina.
A vagina is just something that comes upon, like when you're about to do the deed, and
Right.
then all the clothes come off. It's like, oh look, there's a vagina.
Mhm.
You can target three
Hello
things.
there.
You can target three things: her face, and they're all snapped to her chest, and then
And Wumple.
her.
A woman is like a flower.
What is there to
She
look?
must
Open
triangle.
herself up to you.
Unless he has X-ray vision, what is
No,
there?
he
to really
does.
Look? Okay, that's
does.
He
Well,
puts
oh.
on these special glasses, and you can see through her dress and see her bra, and I think her panties. I
Yes,
think.
her bra and
Okay,
panties.
that
Yes.
okay.
Of course.
It's ridiculous
What the hell's wrong with Japan?
and kind of unnecessary. No, this is very
Don't
Japanese.
say that because that's kind of.
I think this is
There's
more.
plenty
of
of Japanese games that aren't
Have you
horribly
s-
sexist.
Have you seen Japanese television or pornography?
Have you heard
Don't
of
answer that question. It's a
the
trap.
legendary used panty dispensers?
Are you?
Yes.
You're accusing of Japanese porn for being sexist?
I
Isn't
know.
all porn pretty sexist?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Why
Not
are
all
people?
porn. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. But
But then
porn
there's
from
Bible-
all regions can be very sexist.
Yeah, but
Well,
then
porn
there's
from
Bible
origins
porn.
can.
Hey,
be heavy
this is a
sexual.
can of worms that I think we should probably save for our.
I'm
you
just
know,
saying.
off the air.
In Japanese porn, there's more propensity of denigration of women than I see in other types of pornography.
Have you ever heard of Bible Black?
Oh my God!
I don't know what is
no,
that?
Well, then there you go.
we are not
What?
going
We're-
there.
We're
Porn's
not going
fucked
to
up for
discuss
different
that.
reasons. They just
I'm
don't
just
like
saying
it.
that's a terrible,
Hey,
terrible.
this is my- this is-
Oh.
Oh, somebody's gonna use that. in
That's
chat.
just
You
so
realize
fucked
that.
up. If that happened in real life, it would traumatize the dude.
Oh God, come on. Okay.
So let me just say, Killer's Dead is the gameplay itself is fantastic. Gigolo mode is unnecessary.
Do we think Gigolo mode will make it into the final version of the game?
Yes,
I think
what
it
do you-
will.
This
yeah.
is assuming he's the fucking Tarantino of video game making. Okay, he does what he wants.
There's also
Is-
there's a full nudity sex scene too. I think in this game.
I don't think so.
No, I saw a butt.
Oh, okay.
The Tarantino of video games?
I saw.
Yeah.
Wait, I saw a butt.
I don't know if that's appropriate.
Wait, why not?
I don't know. He just doesn't seem like the right thing for that.
Have you ever seen this dude like in an interview? He's well, for one comparison to Tarantino, he's obsessed with film, and there's like references all over his,
Film and music actually.
Oh my
film
God.
and music.
Damn it!
There's references all over his stuff in his whatever. Let's move on because we got some other cool games to talk about.
So bad.
Somebody cut that out.
Emily and I literally just jinxed in chat.
Like
All right.
I saw a game that people might want to hear about.
Okay.
It's called The Evil Within.
Oh yes.
Yes,
Let's talk
please
about
tell me about this
As
game.
Game. Oh, tell him what happened. This made me a little upset.
Okay, well, he didn't get in to see it because Bethesda's overbooked or something. I don't know.
But Bethesda's only allowing 2 people per outlet to see
Yes.
The Evil Within.
And 2 names are on there, mine and Joseph's.
Yeah, when Joseph scheduled, he bumped my name
Oh,
off.
did I?
I think
Yes.
that's what happened because
No. Joseph actually said, no, let me do it. And erased your name.
I did.
He confessed that in the fucking video last
That's
night.
right. They were like, okay, we'll erase it. I'm like, no, I want to erase it.
give me the eraser.
Excuse me.
Okay, so Shinji Mikami was there, and I was really sad I didn't bring my copy of God Hand or Resident Evil 4, but he introduced the game, and it starts off you're a cop or a detective going to investigate a bunch of murders at
Wait, who introduced the game?
Shinji Mikami.
He was there.
He was there, yeah.
Sweet.
Real quick though, are you like it's like an old timey cop, right? Like 1920s cop.
No.
It's a modern cop.
Yeah, it's modern.
Yeah,
I think
well,
you're thinking
okay.
of Murdered Soul Suspect.
No. When I saw the
Even
gameplay
then, Murder
video,
Suspect
when I saw the
is
gameplay video,
modern.
the cop guy was wearing like this old timey vest.
He
and,
is
like,
wearing a...
That's why I thought maybe it was like a Cthulhu time period.
But it's just kind of stylized.
Okay,
as
that's
such.
fine. Okay, good.
I mean, he just likes those clothes.
Just trying to get it in my head.
He's a 50-year-old in a young 28-year-old's body. Whatever. So it starts off very slow. In fact, the whole first section of this game, there's no combat. You have no weapons. He goes in to investigate a series of murders. Something happens, and when he wakes up, he's hanging from like a rope, and just trying and he drops down, and it's like dark and creepy, and it's like, what's going on? Like he literally went from investigating like these murders all over the place to, and now he's. I don't know where it's going, but it's now a full blown horror game, and he's in a room, and there's like a big fucking Saul, hostile, just a big giant dude hacking up bodies, and you're like, oh shit. And the cool part of this is you're sneaking around trying to find the keys to get out of that room, and what's cool is he's just there. One of the things that have always bugged me about Resident Evil, and I've always talked about this, and the reason it's never scary is because they use like cutscenes to introduce all their enemies,
Yeah.
and they set up a lot of the encounters. And one of the reasons the most memorable part of like the first Resident Evil was when the dog jumped through the window is because that's one of the few times that they didn't actually do that. So it was legitimately shocking.
Well, they did introduce the dogs in the opening cinematic,
But
I
mean,
Like the game would stop and like be like, boom, and here's the monster and his name and the description and all this kind
okay,
of stuff.
okay, yeah, that does that. I
Or
do
there
like
would
But
just be a
it
cutscene
didn't
that
do that
would
here.
introduce
But-
Like the unexplained mystery, in the start of this game is I think what makes it so scary.
I want to come back to that Resident Evil thing with you later on. if
Okay,
you don't
for
mind.
sure, for sure. But I've talked about it before. Like I gave an example of actually one of the Resident Evil 5 DLCs, the one where you're in the mansion, was so like tense because there's a big thing chasing you throughout that just he's not even introduced. He just bursts through one of the walls and starts chasing you.
Yeah.
You're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it scares the crap
and it was
out of
very effective.
Yeah, it
because of
was.
that. Because you don't know what's going on. And I feel like this whole game is kind of set up that way. It's very unexplained and honestly really Silent Hill like. This is very much like it kind of feels like Resident Evil 4 meets Silent Hill or like Fear or something where trippy shit starts happening and you don't know. Like he's going down a hallway and then like he blinks, and all of a sudden the door is like way further down, and then like the door opens, and like a flood of blood, like Shining style, just comes like flowing into the
In real time.
Yeah. It comes in real time. It comes flowing down the hallway, and then he's like in some other completely different place. It's trippy, unexplained in that good Silent Hill kind of way, and then this thing starts chasing you as you're trying to sneak around. You can like hide in lockers. It feels very, like Resident Evil 3 or whatever, like with Nemesis chasing after you.
That's what I was going to mention.
Except he doesn't have a rocket launcher or anything. He has kind of like an axe or he has a chainsaw.
You mentioned Nemesis. I have to play this game now.
Okay, and he actually like swipes you, and you become injured, and you're like limping through the rest of this level, and it's just very tense and scary and dark in a way that like a modern Resident Evil is not. Like I feel like if this game could probably be like Resident Evil but darker and creepier.
Sweet.
Resident Evil 4. But
Now,
creepier. The very minimal HUD. I mean, it was very
Minimal HUD.
Yeah, very minimal.
So
It's in my book.
what going on in like what exactly is going on in the course of the demo? Like what is
you're
your
sneaking
main
around.
goal?
This thing's like looking for you.
And you're in this like a mansion?
It's
or
like some sort of like fucked up dark asylum.
okay.
And then they jump forward and they show another demo, and this was showing off the combat. And the combat is very much Resident Evil 4 style, very location based. You can move and shoot, but
What are you
but
fighting?
if you're moving, your accuracy goes way down.
What are you fighting?
Like fucking fucked up shit, like fucked up people.
Those zombies?
Not zombies.
Kind of maybe in the style of the
Like
nurses
Cenobites?
from Silent Hill.
Yeah, more like that. Like Silent Hill enemies, but not like the penis dinosaurs, like the humanoid Silent Hill enemies. But it's like tortured, like it's like Hellraiser shit. It's fucked up. It's like fucked up people that you're fighting.
Like the nurses in Silent Hill.
Sure. And what's cool is when he killed one of them, he pulled out a lighter, set it on fire. Which reminds me of the Resident Evil remake, the Crimsons. I didn't get to interview them, but one of the questions I wrote down, because they weren't taking interviews for this game, one of the questions I wrote down is this like a callback to Resident Evil remake, and will they come back if you don't burn them? But I don't know. I didn't get an answer.
Oh, that would be badass.
And
You were saying so many things I'm liking.
There's no traditional. I mean, there's no like attaché case style inventory system. It seems a little more streamlined, but you are picking up things, and there is like inventory.
Please tell me
management to
there's a
some extent.
typewriter.
I didn't see any typewriters.
Well, it's not supposed to be Resident Evil.
But there was also
look,
no. This is very fucking
Look.
Resident Evil. There was a scene where it was kind of like the cabin scene from Resident Evil 4, where these things were coming, and he was sort of blocking it off, and he actually had traps, and he was setting traps in the environment to kill some of the things that were coming after him.
Look, Nick. There's a lot of things in life I want, but if I was able to make just a handful of them a reality, a Resident Evil 3 remake would be top of the list.
Trust me, I love Resident Evil 3 as well, but this is a Shinji Mikami game being developed under the Bethesda
But
umbrella
this,
here.
This
It's actually his new studio thing.
But this
Yeah.
is tickling my Resident Evil 3 boner.
No,
And
this is, like I said, it feels like Resident Evil meets Silent Hill. And if those are things you like,
I like both
you'll
of those
probably
things.
like this game.
I like-
It
I
also
like-
looked really nice.
I like traditional Resident Evil.
And
I love Silent Hill.
in the game, in the demo ended with he goes into like this dark room, and you've seen it in the trailers, like this woman that comes out of this blood puddle in the ground
Yeah.
with like ring hair, and it just starts coming for him. And there's no cutscene to introduce it. He just goes into the ground, and it happens.
She
And
she
it's
just wants a
terrifying.
hug. That's all she
It's
wants.
terrifying.
Wait. So, okay. So how does the game look like technically?
Like good, like a next gen game. Good,
Okay.
looks good. Better than what a trailer is going to show you. A lot of these people watching at home probably don't realize that the compressed video that you're getting like through game trailers and stuff or on YouTube is not really representative of when you see this stuff in person.
See, I haven't watched that gameplay trailer at all. I haven't watched anything. I've only seen like bits and pieces of that live action teaser
Yeah.
trailer. But I mean, I saw that and I was like, "What the hell is this? This doesn't interest me." But what you're telling me,
I mean, what
I
about it?
completely
What about
understand.
dude, it's from the creator of Resident Evil.
I understand.
What would not?
Not just the creator of Resident Evil, the creator of like this guy went from directing Resident Evil to Resident Evil 4. I mean, he's the good one. He makes great games.
Okay.
He also made God Hand and Vanquish, and he helped out with Shadows of the Damned.
It's pretty good.
He's done great shit. I
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like Bethesda's giving him the freedom and the money, the financial freedom, to kind of make the game that he needs to make. That he would like to. He that maybe he couldn't have gotten funded.
I guess
elsewhere.
I've never really focused on him as the creative mind that he is.
This is one to watch. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, that makes me depressed that I probably won't be able to actually see it tomorrow, even though I'm going to try my damnedest.
Well,
I guarantee
if you murder Joseph and take his badge, that might work.
Of to fight open battle in the streets of LA.
Hey, you're always going on that we
Saints
need.
Row style.
You're always going on that we need more content. I can tape this.
There's not.
Joseph.
There's not.
Joseph, if you want to let me see the Evil Within and you just play Wolfenstein,
Oh, that's all right.
fuck you.
look at it this way, though, Nick. You know how this always happens. This behind closed doors trailer, will be out in a week.
No, parts of it are already out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see specifically the ending now that he's described it, because that sounds creepy and amazing.
Yeah, it is. Especially in a big on a giant screen in a dark room. I'm sitting in the back. I was getting a little nervous. Getting the sweats. So that's it. I will say that it's a rarity that there's a horror game that's also a really good video game and scary, and I feel like that's what he's really good at. That's what Mikami's really good at. So I kind of can't wait to play this.
Okay. Well, that was The Evil Within. It's being built by Tango Gameworks and Bethesda. We'll have more to say about that in the future, obviously. But for now, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about The Witcher 3, as well as a few other games we played today.
We should talk about Loco Cycle.
No.
No, we should.
I think we should.
The world needs to know.
Local cycle shit.
You know what, Brad? They've been hauling around this giant custom-made Loco Cycle they've made at every convention they
Really?
have. Yes,
I've not
without
seen
showing the game to build hype. So we should probably let the world know how Loco Cycle is.
Okay, Loco Cycle.
I wonder if Comic Jumper rides Loco Cycle around.
See, you can't attach other projects that they did to Loco
Well,
Cycle.
I knew whatever
Let
I want.
Loco Cycle stand on its own, even if it's a pile of shit.
I have to say,
The thing is, no one's actually really excited for this game.
What part of we're taking a break do you
We're
fucking
talking about
understand?
Loco
It's all
Cycle.
right. It's okay. You know what? They'll sell more T-shirts
I'm
with
fading
Loco
out.
Cycle on
I'm
it.
fading out.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
I swear to God, the only thing I like in this world is talking about video games. So please hit the button.
I did.
Never hit that.
Oh,
button.
we're recording?
We're recording. We're recording.
Oh, hey, welcome back, guys.
so you tell me we're recording, and I don't press the button until just now.
I literally have it on. I have it on record now. Brad saying the only thing I love in this world is talking about video games.
It's true.
Let's play that back for Malia.
No, burn. Sorry.
Yeah. It's actually.
Malia, I'm sorry, I've got some bad news.
I've been doing like randomly troll texts to her throughout the week, like oh my God, I just played The Evil Within, and she's like, what? What are you saying? What are you telling me? Just that kind of thing.
Just telling her things she has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Did you tell her all about The Witcher 3?
I'm telling you, the relationship is over.
No.
Goodbye.
Hey, she's never liked video games except the ones she obsessively plays. It's really weird.
Like Fable.
Yeah, it's like Fable.
Odd choice. Anyways, Witcher 3. Brad, the only thing you love in this world is The Witcher 3. Tell us why.
Which, I wish we could have been able to record his face during that presentation.
He was actually burying his head in my shoulder at one point during the presentation.
I did look back because I wanted to see Brad's face during certain points.
I saw a tear.
The Witcher 3 is really... Hey, do y'all like Skyrim?
I like Skyrim.
I like Skyrim too.
This,
You don't count, Chris.
I only reviewed the game.
this is like Skyrim, but way better.
It is actually.
Okay, so
It's like
It is.
it's like
It really is.
take the combat and the story and like the lore of a Witcher world and make it into Skyrim.
Yes. Yeah, that is it in
And
a nutshell, but
Add
there are
sailboats.
Add like Wind Waker sailboats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add open seamless world transition, like hop into a sailboat, sail to an island.
and throw in dynamic weather on top of
Dynamic
that.
weather that actually affects the crazy waves in the ocean.
You can lose your boat if you sail into a storm.
You can swim.
But you can't swim
Wait!
under water.
You stole his thunder.
Sorry.
Just say it, Brad.
I was going to save some of the juicy deets for the interview.
We have an interview going up tomorrow.
It's a very hefty interview too. So
Yeah, I asked a lot of questions, got a lot of answers. Some exclusive stuff that I don't know if some of that's out there at all.
there were several, yeah.
Some stuff that I don't know is out there at all. But yeah, The Witcher, man, where do we start? It looks really, really good. For a game that's still probably over a year out,
Yeah.
it looks really, really good.
They were calling what they were showing pre-alpha.
And I was looking at it saying, just put it in a box and give it to me.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean
take it.
there were some little things, but it was gorgeous.
So
beyond
forgive
belief.
me, I turned away because there was this. They didn't set up the chairs right in the room, and so I was stuck behind this guy the entire time. So I was having to go like that the entire time.
Oh,
So
that's
I didn't catch
unfortunate.
half the presentation.
That's unfortunate.
So what was this about the deer?
Oh, the
What?
deer got stuck in a fence.
It was in the middle of that cinematic.
No, it was doing
No,
in the
not
world.
cinematic. It was in the world. They were like, this is a live demo. This is early, so
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And there's a part where like a deer was stuck in a fence,
Just try to
and
run
everyone was
through it.
like, "Oh!" And then he used Ard and like blew the fence away. Everyone's like, "Yay!"
I think he was trying to blow the deer away, but
He
he
tried to
didn't.
blow the deer away, but he blew the fence away.
Yeah.
And the deer
Yeah.
just skipped off, and everyone's like, "Aw."
And then the guy goes, "Yeah, so all of your decisions have lasting impact."
I can't explain it. I think it has a lot to do with, like, for example, the shit you fight in Skyrim isn't really exciting when it's in the world. I think it's more annoying than anything. But there's something about rolling around, like rolling through the countryside as Geralt and coming across just like a giant fucking monster just standing there. It's intense and exciting. And he got into the fight with this giant beast with antlers.
It's like a bear fucked a moose, really.
It's giant and crazy, and then all of a sudden he was like in this. It wasn't a boss or anything, but it was like this boss level
This
like
epic fight.
This
No,
epic fight.
The greatest thing about this random encounter that he had with this giant deer-like creature, I don't know, monster, whatever, was that it had a special attack. So he was just wandering through the environment, stumbled across it. It's like eating this like carcass, or whatever, and then he gets its attention by throwing something at it or using this fire spell, or whatever, and it attacked him. But it has a third eye, and when it generates magic in its third eye, it basically creates this veil of darkness in the world,
and it just becomes
that-
pitch black.
It becomes pitch black. You can just see barely maybe a foot or two in front of you, and everything else outside of that is just pitch black.
You just see this red eye.
And all you can see is his red eye when he gets close enough. So
Okay,
he basically blinds you, and it makes you have to like keep a really close eye on what's going on around you, so you can dodge just in time.
Okay,
And that
because
shit's awesome.
again, since my perspective was fucked up, I thought it was the exact opposite. I thought that this was a mechanic that belonged to Geralt,
No, this is a
And-
mechanic. This is
and I was like, gee, this really isn't working. Why isn't he sneaking up on the enemy and just killing it?
no.
I don't
That was
understand.
him being blinded by the
Yeah.
enemy.
Yeah,
and
Which-
I can't stress enough how awesome the signs are in this game now.
so
Like-
much better.
Like so much better.
So much
like the Igni spell, like the fire spell is like this badass fucking like flamethrower that sprouts from his hand, and it just like fucking burns and singes anything that it hits, and it's so like
I mean,
incredible looking, and like the feedback looks so satisfying.
the-
and you can move around while you're doing it like slowly.
This is one of the first games that I think truly looks next gen.
Yeah. Look at the trailer, and in the trailer he uses Ard to like throw a dude off like horseback and go flying. It's so fucking cool.
It's so great. But I think the most the part. So the demo was 45 minutes. It was a long demo.
Yeah.
It started with him
Yeah.
entering a town, talking to a guy to get a quest, and then traveling across the open world. They showed him get on a boat and sail around for a little bit, and then he got off the boat. He also ended up bringing up fast travel. So the the world is so large now, they haven't reintroduced fast travel. Of course, that is optional.
There is fast travel, but you have your horse, which moves pretty quickly. And from what we saw in that first trailer, and there's boats and stuff. It's all open and seamless.
It's there for people who have less patience and are more about getting to their objective fast.
Elder Scrolls style, you can only fast travel to places you've discovered.
Yeah,
which is the way most of these games should be. Fast travel.
But the real groundbreaking thing about this game, aside from the fact that it has a huge open world and it just looks, it has the fast-paced combat from The Witcher that we love mixed in with the openness of Skyrim, is that he stumbles across this side mission and that's kind of attached to the main mission that he's going on, where he finds this village that's being tormented by this demon living in the woods. So, of course, him being a Witcher, he offers his services to these people, saying he'll, for a price, he'll go in there and he'll take out this village. Take out this monster. So what does he do? He goes into the woods to try and investigate, figure out what he's dealing with. And you can use this special vision, obviously, to look around, look for clues. And as you identify clues in the woods, it adds information to your bestiary.
And it helps determine what the monster actually is.
Yes, so then you can go into your menu, open up the bestiary, and then when you finally figured out what the monster is, the monster appears in your bestiary with all the information about it, aside from physical attributes, but also
very impressive
behavior,
detailed.
what
sounds to listen
for,
like ways to track it,
visual cues to listen for that might help you track it in an environment,
traits, maybe even some attacks,
things that it does to people.
See, you never actually tracked animals in the first two Witcher games. I mean, you would go buy a book, you'd read up on them, you'd find out sort of where they hung out. But in this one, you're actually tracking them.
So Delago in chat says Witcher 2 had a bestiary thing too, but this is what made this game special. He went into the woods, he found some claw marks on a rock. Yeah. He heard crows. He saw crows off in the distance, kind of hovering around the environment. He heard a specific noise, and then he finally was like, okay. He would comment on these things when he saw them. He would comment out loud when he saw these things, and then he was like, oh, I'm dealing with a lesher. And then you go into your bestiary, and you open up the thing with a lesher, and it says, he says it would create totems in the environment that would keep him hidden from view or something like that. So you have to destroy these totems, and then all of a sudden you have this new objective to destroy these totems in order to get him to reveal himself.
Yeah, you understand, this bestiary would update dynamically as you were tracking these beasts.
And it's so rare in games with built-in encyclopedias and bestiaries for it to provide information that's actually useful to the player. Sure, you can learn more about the world, what those creatures are, but this is actually telling you what you need to know and what is...
And not only that, the woods that he was exploring were huge. So it's kind of how are you going to find this in the woods? And then it would say, listen for the sound of crows. And normally, if you walk into the woods, you'd hear crows and not think anything of it. But he's like, there's a bunch of crows over there, and you'd go over there, and all of a sudden you'd find this totem, and you destroy the totem that adds to the quest you're on to find this monster. And just think dynamic. And the greatest part is none of this ever just pops on the screen and tells you what to do. Well, if you hadn't gone into your bestiary on your own, on your own time and just decided, hey, I'm going to look at my bestiary, you might never find this information out and know what to. You might just blindly have to go try and figure it out yourself.
You might be able to purchase some basic information, but not to the degree that Geralt is able to.
And then it also in the bestiary, it told him that before this creature can be killed, it would tie himself to a human being so that if he dies, this human being would be killed or
lose
sacrificed.
His life essence,
would lose his life
and be reborn.
And then allow that monster to be reborn. So you have to find out who he's tied himself to, and the person who he's tied himself to is unaware of the fact that he's been linked to this monster. So he has to go. He goes into the village and he turns on his vision. You have to walk around the village and find the person who's showing signs of being tainted by this creature. And then then once you find him, you have this decision to make. Do I kill him? Do I tell somebody else to kill him? Do I just let it slide and then go eliminate the monster? But if you do that, there's the chance that the monster will be reborn and they won't have any idea it's going to happen.
That's my question.
Do they pay you?
If you didn't read the bestiary to find out about this link, and you just went and found the monster and killed it, later on in the story, would this monster just come back and start attacking the town again?
He did say that you come back to the village later and you see the repercussions of that mission that you did before.
Which is funny. When he freed the deer that was glitched into the fence and it ran off, he was like, choices and consequences. Christmas.
But I mean, when he eventually tracked down and killed the monster, it was more than just the effect on the village. It was the effect on the forest itself. Part of the forest began to die.
Yeah.
No. It came back to life, didn't it?
When the forest came back to life when he killed the monster.
Because when you first go into the forest, it's
I
it's
couldn't
dark.
tell from my perspective.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's gloomy. It's raining.
See, I thought that was just
it's
a storm
windy.
going on
Yeah,
naturally.
no,
I thought
it
that was a
was.
natural environment.
There was a storm going on, but it was also just it's hard to describe, but the forest looked kind of like tainted almost. And the moment he killed that monster, you see the crows fly away, the sunlight shines through again, the trees start to look like life is returning to them. It just becomes a more vibrant, like lively forest all of a sudden.
You know, after we saw the game, I did an interview with the game's director, or actually right before the interview, Chris asked him, like that opening, that cinematic that you showed. They showed us a cinematic at the beginning of the presentation, or maybe
Really
it was
good
you.
looking one.
It was
too.
like a really badass cinematic, and he said,
It was
"Yeah, that
beyond
was really
Blackwell.
cool. Maybe it'll be in the game, but we're planning for a much bigger, like more awesome opening cinematic for Witcher 3."
Yeah.
So yeah,
The opening cinematic.
their
they showed us
cinematic
was
opening
great.
cinematics are always the best. The fucking
I liked
best.
it more than the one for Witcher 2, and the one for Witcher 2 was awesome.
Well, it's Blur studio quality.
Yeah.
So
The also I'll say I guess I'll say it now. I did an interview after we saw the game, and I sort of called them out on the bullshit that is, what they said at the Microsoft press conference about using using voices with your Kinect to cast spells in The Witcher 3, and I was like, that's crap. We all know Geralt doesn't speak his spells. He uses signs, and his answer was, well, the Kinect can pick up different fingers, right? And I was like, does that mean you'll be able to actually do the signs yourselves? And he said they're working on it, which is pretty fucking cool.
and another thing they're working on is tying in the choices you made to Witcher 2 into Witcher 3.
So they are bringing back the saves.
It is confirmed they are going to be doing that for PC. They are currently working out how to do it on the 360.
They said they're looking into the cloud technology to be able to do that.
I think they'll be able to build a utility that tracks all that information and then converts it to Witcher 3 data. So, which a lot happens in 2. So I have to wonder just what they'll do with that.
I want this game in my pants.
It looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it looks really incredible. It really is sort of The Witcher 2 blown out into like Skyrim scale.
Yeah.
They said this game is 35 times larger than The Witcher 2.
Yeah.
They showed this map of these islands, and it was larger than all of The Witcher 2's land. Everything you ever could go to.
Right. And that was just a small
beyond
part
that.
of the entire world.
That's just a small part.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, there's all. You guys talk about the emergent stuff that kind of happens as you're going through towns. Villagers will just come out and be like, "Hey, can you help me with this, please?" And sometimes it's a small job, and you just help them right away. Or sometimes it just immediately just branches out into an entirely new quest line.
I don't know if any of this was like blowing smoke up our ass, but he did mention things like someone will say, like if you're wandering through a town and there is a merchant who asks you to help him because his stock is being raided or something like by a monster or whatever, and you can choose to help him or not. And it's like, do you help him and watch and help the economy in the town prosper by doing so, or do you let it slide and then come back later to find out that he went out of business or whatever, which prevented him from providing goods to other merchants that affected other towns and stuff like that. Like it had this like spreading effect, and that sounds awesome. I can't help but wonder if that might be kind of marketing speak, and I don't know if we would actually see that in the game. But
to that scale in that one
sounds
instance,
crazy.
I have to.
Sometimes these
call
things
it.
manifest themselves in simpler ways than
Yeah.
we're giving them
Yeah.
credit,
anyways, Witcher 3 is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC
Next year.
next year, 2014. Polish beer is good.
We have Polish beer. That's true.
They provided us with Polish beer. I've never had a Polish beer, but it was delightful. Last year they gave us didn't they give us like Heineken last year or something?
Can I do just one more detail or two? Is I noticed that he didn't actually like meditate and quaff any potions before like a battle. And I was gonna ask that in the interview, and I completely spaced, and I forgot to ask it.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed is he went to a campfire out in the world to meditate.
He lit the bonfire.
He lit the fire, essentially, which you had to do in the first Witcher game, but you didn't have to do that in 2. I meant to ask about that as well. If you can only meditate at campfires.
Which by the way, that sequence in which it went through the day and night cycle, wow.
Yeah, no, that looked incredible.
Just seeing those clouds going around and the sun, the moon rising, and it's shit that's been done to death, in open world games. But man, that looked good.
Yeah, I mean, all look good. There's one point where, he kind of went off the road, and there was this giant valley below him, and it's the first time we saw the deer kind of in front of him, and you can see the forest in the background. And I think I was sitting next to Dave Oshry, the guy working on the Rise of the Triad. Yeah, he was in there.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to him. I was looking for him all weekend, and I saw him going like, "Hey!" And he turns to me and he's like, "Man, this like makes Skyrim look like child's play." It's just so beautiful.
It will.
So gorgeous.
So that's The Witcher 3, and it's pretty damn good.
Oh, I want it so bad. Okay. What else is there to talk about, guys? We saw some. Let me see. Let me
We
look up.
played Beyond
Yes,
Two Souls.
Brad and I played
The Ellen
Beyond
Page
Two Souls.
simulator.
The Ellen Page Lady Splinter Cell demo.
Okay, so before you get all poopy on the Splinter Cell.
You know what's funny about you saying that?
Don't be all defensive.
Real quick, you know what's funny about you saying that? Bob and I were talking about David Cage one day, and how he's kind of ridiculous. And I thought David Cage should make a game where you play David Cage. And you have to feel the emotion of trying to explain a David Cage game to everyone else and making them believe.
I want Peter Molyneux to make this game.
That would be making.
This is something in video
Peter
you've
Molyneux
never done in a video game before.
Never before have you been able to play as David Cage in a video game. We've never been able to do this before, and if you play it long enough, you actually will turn into David Cage. You will, feel the emotion of David Cage and how emotional David Cage likes to get. And having that level of emotion with David Cage is something that's never been in his marriage before.
Joseph.
Never.
that was pretty good, Joseph. But you know what?
That's a clip.
I'm gonna let that one slide. I was gonna call you out again for getting so close to your mic, but that was.
You have to do it when you do Peter Molyneux, though.
Yeah, you do.
It's part of it.
God damn.
Okay.
It's like he's whispering in your ear. It's part of it.
Okay.
All right,
Well, speaking of David Cage,
Brad and I played Beyond Two
I
Souls.
did hug a small African boy today. Not in real life, in Beyond Two Souls. And the crazy part is, this
You
is
sound
how
like you have an aversion to the idea.
No, he
this.
seemed into it.
Yeah, no,
like
it was nice.
He likes his small boys like he likes his coffee, apparently.
It was
Well, Angelina, how did that go?
it wrapped up
Bradgelina.
a demo.
Angelina.
It wrapped up a demo of like horrible carnage. Like, I don't know what you are expecting out of Beyond Two Souls, but you're a girl, Ellen Page, and you control this like ghost or psychic being.
Yes,
Um,
she is
also-
tied to this psychic to this ghostly being.
And
It has a name. Its name is Aiden.
and he moves around in the sky, and you can latch on to people and make them do horrible things, and you do horrible things, like you're in a firefight because you're playing Lady Splinter Cell. I don't know. She's
Wait, can I give some context there, because I think
good
you're
luck because they don't really set
Do you
this
know?
up very well.
No, you clearly haven't been paying attention to what the game is about.
I have to admit, I am also confused because I thought she was a little girl through the whole thing.
No, this game spans 15 years of her life.
And I thought the police guy was like your main
No,
companion.
this entire game spans 15 years of this girl Jodie's life. From birth, or I don't know from birth, but at some point early in her life, she becomes attached to this spectral being, this ghost figure, whatever, and befriends it, or whatever, and she's able to. They have this friendly relationship. It's
Kinda
invisible,
like Right Said Fred.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
so she can communicate with it. She can tell it to do things, and it will do it. But so at some point in the game, she is basically being experimented on, or they're doing research on, or whatever. And of course, the government catches wind of this because she can do this paranormal shit, and they basically weaponize her. They send her. They put her in the CIA program because they need her to assassinate someone for them.
Because this is always a good idea.
So she goes to Africa to take out bad guys,
so she
and that's
goes,
the demo we play.
She goes to Afghanistan, which is where the demo takes, or not Afghanistan,
It's Africa.
Siberia, or something. I don't. They said somewhere.
Siberia?
It's not.
They're black
What?
people.
Okay, whatever. She said.
Are you implying there's no black people in
I'm
Siberia?
trying to remember what it was.
There's no black people
Are you?
in Siberia.
That's just whiteout zone.
Libya.
Pretty much.
It was Libya.
Okay.
So they sent her to Libya to assassinate this
Libya,
key figure.
Siberia. What was the first place? You said Afghanistan.
Somalia.
It's all the
Somalia.
same.
It's Somalia. There we go.
There's a lot
They
of
sent her to Somalia to assassinate this person.
Okay. This
That's for the
is
CIA,
probably
and-
this fucked up warlord, I'm guessing.
Wait, Somalia?
Oh, for fuck's sake! It doesn't matter.
No,
You're
no, no,
killing
no,
black
no,
people.
No. I'm just saying. I think this could be interesting context for where this takes place timeline wise.
Timeline of what?
Real human history. You know, the conflicts in
Yes.
Somalia.
Oh yeah, I'm
You ever
sure.
heard of Black Hawk Down?
Yeah.
The whole basis for that conflict.
That's probably the case. Here's
I think that's kind of cool.
so early in the game, she is in the CIA program. She's forced into the CIA program because she has these abilities, and they're basically using her. Otherwise, they would imprison her or whatever. I don't know. But at some point, she breaks out of this program. At the other demo they showed a few months ago, she's homeless. She's living on the streets, and it's a completely different side of this game. It's very emotional, very slow paced.
I'm not saying this game doesn't have those moments. I'm saying in the demo we played, it was action packed. And let me talk a little bit about this action.
Yes.
It's like you take cover. Now, there's dudes shooting at you, so you pop into your little ghost, savior or whatever. You fly over to one of these African warlord dudes. You take control of them, and then it's like prompts like pull down on the analog stick, and the dude like takes out a knife, and then a square like pops over the chest of his friend, and you're like, what? And you hit square, and he stabs his friend. And then there's shit like take control of this dude, and you're pulling on the analog sticks up towards this dude's face, and you're like, what am I doing? And the dude like fucking stabs himself in the neck. It's so brutal and horrific.
Yes,
It's a David Cage game. And then there's like a fucking car chase. People are shooting at you, and then it ends with you hugging a small African boy after you tell him he can't come with you.
Okay.
Oh,
He
you-
doesn't speak
So
English.
I want us to flash back
You
really
couldn't
fast.
adopt him?
I want us to flash back really fast to the last CES, I think it was, when David Cage did his big speech about how games need to change, the speech he always makes, and talking about not every game needs car chases and violence and shooting. We need to be better than this.
I feel like that was Warren Spector.
He's
like that was
fucking.
It was Warren Spector too. He has made mention.
But
of
David Cage, can I say this? David Cage is full of shit.
that. He says things.
Okay,
and
he makes
is
interesting
crazy
games,
sometimes.
but he's full of shit.
That is a pretty harsh call out. You really don't know what he's going for in this game.
So
wait till after you play the game.
Well,
and make
like
that
the
comment.
stabbing in the chest is, I imagine, is going to be a very, very small part of this game. You do hug a small African boy.
And that's supposed to make it okay.
Okay, let me say this.
which you could
wait. We didn't talk about one of the mechanics.
That's what I want to talk about.
You
you
get-
get
So I
so
go
one
to
of the mechanics
confession.
is you can actually
No.
adopt the
No.
small
Stop.
African boy.
You get into hand-to-hand combat in this game, and this is where gameplay kind of fell apart for me.
This is where this is like thinking back for me to like Techland's Call of War's mechanic, the guns, the fucking. No. I'm saying it because very, very, very hard to get the hang of.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can just pick up and do.
I know how to explain this perfectly.
Okay, explain it perfectly. Then.
Okay, so it's like in Heavy Rain when you're in the action QTE events, like when you're getting into fistfights and shit, right? And buttons are popping up that it's like, oh, a square over the dude's hand. Press square so you can like parry his blow. Stuff like that, right?
yeah.
Here's the kicker.
Here's the thing. There's no button prompts. It just wants you to sort of look at the animation of the dude you're fighting and thrust the analog stick in the way that you think is
So-
going to best avoid or
So
parry
if he
his
throws a
attack.
punch, you're supposed to like pull back so she like backs up, or if he like goes to kick, like you push up and she'll jump over his kick.
It's so confusing though because it's not like some sort of set of like mechanics.
It's not standardized.
It's not standardized.
Yeah.
Like it's a constantly moving scene. The angles are constantly changing. He's not like he's throwing. It's not like Punch Out where he's throwing the same tail every time.
Right.
It's like this dynamic scene, and you're just like, I think I pressed up here. Oh no, he fucking punched me in the face because this is confusing. You know what? Just give me button prompts. I know everyone hates QTEs, but I feel like Heavy Rain did them better than other games.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
They were contextual in a very smart way.
And the thing is,
And honestly, the action scenes weren't that common. But
the button prompts are in other sequences, just not the action
And in
sequences.
fact, I would say that even more than just being contextual in a smart way, they were contextual in a way that actually made you physically feel like you were doing the
Yes.
actions on screen, like which I thought was brilliant.
like when it was really awkward, you would be in a very awkward position.
Exactly, yeah.
Or if it was a very cumbersome
Really well
mechanic,
thought
you were
out.
holding down like a whole bunch of buttons.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
it's very smart.
From based on what you're saying, if the camera stayed in a fixed position, and based on the movement in relation to where it is on screen, if you were able to make a motion in that direction or the opposite direction thereof, I think it'd actually be interesting.
Try it. It doesn't work so well.
Yeah, I'm saying if it was a fixed camera the entire
Oh no,
fight.
you're right. If it was a fixed camera, but then
Yeah.
it would just be like a game mechanic, and why not at that point just put in a real fighting system? You know what I mean? It's this is not what a David Cage game is all about.
I know.
It's
David
about
Cage.
telling like a story movie style. But the thing is, I really like Heavy Rain, and I even kind of really like Indigo Prophecy. But what I've seen of this game has me a little worried that like the fucking shackles are off. We're gonna get unhinged David Cage, and I'm worried.
It does seem. I will admit, I'm very confused at this point. Of what to expect from it.
I mean,
Title.
the thing about like Indigo Prophecy is you had great moments,
Mhm.
but then you'd have like full fucking retard moments. Like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And what I liked about Heavy Rain is he exercised some restraint, and actually like throughout the game, it was kind of it was even toned and well well made.
and then this new gameplay comes out and it's completely fucking
Lady
different.
Splinter
anything
Cell?
I've
What-
ever
what-
seen.
there's
There's no problem with that, though.
there's
Go watch the other demonstration, for the love of God.
the other demonstrations are fine, but this one reminds me of like when you're doing the horrible flashbacks in Indigo Prophecy. It's just a bad scene. Like when you fucking walking around following that little African boy, and you're like taking cover by like you're doing like you're sneaking around. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a
Yes.
stealth sequence, but the mechanics in that case are so like awkward and cumbersome, and I almost wish that driving the character, hold down the right trigger from Heavy Rain was back because it was less awkward in terms of controlling your character.
Perhaps.
I was getting lost. I was getting lost a lot. That camera for looking around is or no, it's that the camera is tied to your character movement because you use the right analog stick for actions and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was awkward.
I don't know. I'm still super excited for this game.
I'm definitely gonna play it. Like honestly, that the first scene that they showed when they first introduced the game at the press conference, where it was just Ellen Page and that police, then that sheriff or whatever, like talking to her in a room. Like that's ballsy to make that the first thing you ever show for a game. And,
Well, I mean,
and then
you know that
some of
sequence, you remember that sequence ended in all the cops dead and like a fire
I know, but you
explosion,
weren't
right?
playing through that, or anything. And then they showed the sequence where she's a little girl being interrogated about her powers or whatever, or doing tests.
Yeah.
And that shit went bad. Like they've shown really interesting stuff for this game. This demo was like Lady Splinter Cell.
I think that's why we keep saying Lady Splinter Cells, because this just looks like, oh my god.
But
we're
isn't
so
that kind of what they were
inundated.
going for? This is them trying to show variance in their title.
But we didn't know that.
But variance is where David Cage gets into trouble.
You know, there's a second demo, right?
That second playable.
Yes.
demo?
I don't know what it is.
I saw one on there. It was called The Hunted.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I don't know. He said if you go back, he told me if you come back and get and play it again,
All
they'll
right,
let you
maybe
play a
I
different
will. Maybe I
demo.
will if I have time. Or I encourage maybe one of you guys.
Yeah, actually, y'all two should go and play the other demo and then tell us about it.
I don't have time for that. I want to, believe me, but that's not happening.
What?
We just found out that Dark Souls. Oh wait, this is Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is actually at E3.
Wait,
In where and in what
It's at the
capacity?
Namco Bandai booth.
There is no Namco
There is
Bandai
none.
booth.
Word is spread among E3's Dark Souls aficionados that Namco Bandai is giving a free shirt to anyone who can defeat the Mirror Knight, the boss in the playable build on display today.
It's not on display anywhere on the show floor.
This is 2013. It's somewhere on the floor.
There is no Namco.
Well, now
Bandai
you have-
booth.
I think there
It's-
is. I think I saw it in the distance somewhere.
Dude, there is always stuff on the
Like a
show floor that you
mirage.
I have circled both
It's.
halls
Oh, we'll look tomorrow. but
because
think
I
it's
went
there.
looking for Namco just to show off my Ace Combat shirt. Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're saying it's there, and I'm gonna go play Dark Souls 2 tomorrow.
Well, if you find it, let me know. Because
If
I
it
looked
is,
all around.
yes, and call me because people
It
want
might-
to see this.
It might only be on like one TV or something.
No, I mean, there's no Namco booth.
Unless it's there literally isn't, as far as I can see, on the map. Unless it's in either a concourse hall or
That
in one of
sounds
the permanent
like what they
meeting
were.
rooms.
That sounds like what they did with the original
Or
Dark
could it
Souls.
could it be upstairs in a meeting room?
Can you
I think
tweet
it would
them or
have to be, but if
something?
that's the case, how are we going to get in there? Because you need a
Try to tweet
meeting.
that Namco.
Okay. Anyways, let's move on. What else is there to talk about today? I got my first hands on a PS4 controller.
I
played-
still haven't touched a PS4
I
controller.
played
I've touched them both, and I'll say this: they're both excellent controllers.
Yes, the PS4
Okay.
controller is a solid piece of hardware. Like, it feels weighty. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break if you drop it. It feels like Brad had said, the triggers feel so much nicer because they're concave instead of convex now, which is great.
Yep.
And the thumbsticks feel really responsive and
No, they're Yeah. Okay.
yeah, concave, not convex. And then the analog sticks feel really nice. They feel really snappy, and they contour to your thumb tips a lot better.
Yeah, I haven't touched a PS4 controller yet, but I played with the Xbox One controller today, and that feels pretty good in the hand. It feels actually just a tad smaller than the current 360
There's
controller.
that, and I thought that the
And
analog sticks were way too loose.
I didn't really have a problem with the
It
analog
might,
sticks at
it
all.
might have been, controllers sometimes are weird like that. It
Yeah.
might have just been the one I was playing.
You generate 1,000 prototypes for a show, so. But I mean, it feels good. It's less curvy on the bottom, so it allows for a better grip, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And based on what I played 5 minutes of Battlefield 4. That was enough to confirm that it was a PC. It was the PC version, so we know this will work on PC.
So here's a game that I saw today. I didn't play, but I saw. I went and saw the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag demonstration.
Oh yeah.
Which was more than just what they showed at the Sony. They opened it with the same demonstration from the Sony press conference, this time without the glitches, and then they had a completely open world demo of the game. So they aimed to kind of answer all the questions that one might have about Assassin's Creed 4, especially since we've had a lot of questions about seamlessness, about going from land to sea. Unfortunately, the only question they did not answer is the one question that Brad wanted an answer to, and that we've all wanted an answer to, which is the underwater swimming.
Right.
Not once in the demo did he dive underwater, even though it looked like he could have if he wanted. It's just something they chose not to do, and I have a feeling it's because out of all the things in the world, that's probably the one thing I'm guessing is not completely seamless.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but everything else looked great. There was a lot of going from land onto a boat, over to an island, then off the boat onto the island, and then back onto the boat, and then over to a different island. And
Wait,
you know,
they showed all that?
yes, it was all seamless. It's a completely open
So
world.
how far to the shore does your boat get, and how does it
What?
dock?
He didn't dock. He just jumped out of the boat into the water and swam to shore.
I think I'm gonna watch this demo.
It's good. I mean, everything that you wanted out of seamlessness, it's there. They showed some other things. They showed a new way of boarding other ships. So if you engage in naval combat, and then you get to a point where you can pull up right next to the ship, you can actually command your crew to prepare the other ship for boarding. So they'll if you hit the button to command the crew, they'll run around and start throwing ropes onto the other boat and pulling it closer, and they will basically take care of everything you need to do for you to board the ship. And then he used a new ability or a new item called the rope swing that allowed him to he grabbed the swing and swung over the mast of the other boat and let go, and then jumped onto the boat that way. It all looked really cool. They did show the tablet stuff too. They had an entirely separate screen of the tablets, and he had the world map pulled up, and he was it was showing him in real time where he was in the world map on his tablet.
I'm not. I tell you one. I'm not sure if we talked about this yesterday, but we were seeing this tablet stuff, everywhere.
Yeah,
And it's one of these things I will never ever use. It's like how Kinect was and the
It's the
PlayStation
next
Eye
Kinect.
was a while ago.
Yeah.
Now it's tablets. Now I will say this: I don't think it's as intrusive as those other technologies were, but I don't see. Like, if anybody in chat is actually interested in using their iPad or phone, using Silverlight to interact with these games, let me know, because I do not see anyone really getting into this
There's
idea.
a few instances in which it's interesting to use. Like, for example, the Watch Dogs, how a second player with a tablet could change things in the world, like make the parking guard pistons come up,
Right.
on
Yeah.
the street and block
Can I do that
cars and all that.
through my game, though? I mean,
Yeah, you can do it in
play.
the game too.
Yeah, but it also that would affect your meter in Watch Dogs, your power.
Right.
Whereas this is a separate person, it doesn't affect you.
What's the point, though? I mean,
It provides people an opportunity for couch co-op in single player games, in my opinion.
no, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
That's probably
Okay.
That's part of it.
And in Battlefield 4, they've got the commander mode, and you can set it up where you just play it on the commander mode on tablet, and you can, for example, they showed off in a trailer and
Yeah,
demonstrated.
in this instance, like Fryan in chat says, in this instance, it was more like being able to have your map open without having to pause the game.
Yeah.
So you can have it next to you and be kind of like looking back and forth without having to like pause the
See, the
game.
commander mode is cool because in commander mode in Battlefield 4, it's almost like playing an RTS.
Yeah.
So it's cool to use your fingers to move things around and do arrows and whatnot. So that, I can almost see that.
So yeah, with the new gameplay implementations
Yeah.
and based on what you're doing in the map, you can, for example, launch a cruise missile and have that hit enemy tanks that you've targeted.
Yeah. A few other
So-
things about Assassin's Creed worth noting. So you have the ability to, you have the spyglass that you can use to, obviously, as a ship captain, you can like seek out other ships, and if you focus on other ships, you'll be able to identify what kind of ship they are, and it'll pull up an information screen, show what kind of armament they have, what kind of weaponry they have. It also shows you what kind of cargo they have.
Oh,
So
really?
if you can judge whether you want to attack a ship, if you're trying to take the cargo from that ship.
How does that work? Is that where like you switch through pictures and see what it was?
No, it just kind of fades in on the top right of the
Oh,
screen, and it
okay.
shows.
I thought it was like old like sub commander style where you have to look at the ship, then you look at your log and you page
No,
through
no.
the ships to see what kind of ship it
It's
is.
just kind of like
That
when
would
you
be kind of cool.
you can just focus
Well,
on
that's
it.
yeah.
Once you zoom in and focus on it, it just kind of like appears on your screen. So
Master and Commander.
so which is pretty cool. And you also instead of training assassins, you're focusing on managing your crew, and you can lose crew. He said if you choose to navigate into a storm, you can potentially lose crew members during the storm. Like if it's rocking your boat and people fall overboard or whatever.
I want to see what do you know what I want to see? I want to see complete crew management.
yeah, I was
you
gonna,
know,
I was
that's
going to
ki-
mention that right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it takes it as far as like XCOM did, where you have like names and abilities like that. But you're constantly managing your crew. So if you're running low on, or if you just need new crew members for some reason, you can choose to attack another ship, take it over, and it gives you. So if you kill a certain percentage of the people on that ship, you can instead of killing everyone, you can take over. They'll eventually surrender, and you can either choose to execute them or recruit them to your ship.
See, do they? I want to know.
And it also looks like they rank up too. They have positions. and they'll-
So are you saying that it works in a modified way of what's been in like Brotherhood, Revelations, and 3? To where
Yeah, but
you,
instead of
you train
assassins-
assassins and have them send them out and do things in the
Yeah,
world?
but it's I didn't see any of the like, training assassins. This is all just
yeah,
ship crew.
I'm just saying crew.
But yeah, this is kind of replacing that, which is pretty neat.
Okay.
Also, they have a little Red Dead Redemption thrown in there for good measure. He went to an island, like a tiny island, jumped off of it, and there was a dead body on the island, and he looted it, found a treasure map. Pull up the treasure map. There's a drawing, and it shows I think a region of where this is this is located, and it shows like a drawing of a temple. So he got back on the boat, sailed to this region. Of course, he knew where he was going. Found the island, looked up on the hilltop, and you see the temple that's drawn on the map. So he scales the mountain, finds the temple, and then finds the exact spot where the treasure is buried, and then pulls it out and finds a treasure. Which instead of just giving you money, he found a blueprint that allows you to upgrade his ship. And there's all kinds of ship upgrades you can make in the game, and they said you start with like 6 cannons in your ship. You can upgrade all the way to the point where you have like 60-something cannons
Here's
on
my
your
question:
ship.
can you name your ship?
Well, it's called the Jackdaw.
It's the Jackdaw. It's the same ship from AC3.
I want to name my ship,
yeah,
and then I want whatever name I choose to be on the outside of the ship.
yeah, unfortunately, that's not the case here. But
I want like Delago was talking about this.
The
in chat over-
Tallywhacker.
over
The
in-
USS Tallywhacker.
Delago was talking about this in chat over at 4pp.tv. I mean, they should have like full ship management. You know,
I mean-
all of your stuff, all of your crew,
To a degree,
moving people around to
yes.
like, okay, I have these people on these guns, but I have these damage, so I need to move these people to like damage control.
I mean,
and fire
at,
control.
at that point, don't make it Assassin's Creed game. Just
Right.
make it something brand new.
I like that. Let's do that. Let's have them do that.
Well, I think it's not going to go to that extent.
Yeah,
But I think if you're into that whole, if you're into ship management, it's not going to be XCOM or anything, but it's going to have that element in there that's going to be
real
really
time,
appealing
of
to you.
course, but I mean, just like the old there was a old World War II B-52 simulator called B-52 Flying Fortress that was like that.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and you had to do full complete crew management, and as you did more missions and your crew became more experienced, losing them would be a big problem. But if like somebody went down in the ship, in the plane, you'd have to move them from their gunner seat to help revive or help do medical treatment on somebody else. And you have to do this complete like FTL.
FTL, yeah, that's.
I
a
think
good
we mentioned a long time ago. FTL, like I want a pirate
FTL.
game that's like FTL but looks like Assassin's Creed pirate stuff.
Well, this is the step in the right direction. It's
Right.
the game definitely looks like a kind of a breath of fresh air for the series.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Brad,
I caught up with the game that y'all played at PAX.
Transistor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I finally got my hands on Transistor. And I want to talk about this because I didn't get a chance to talk about it before. First, this game looks and sounds like really nice. It's really pleasing. I like everything as far as, the look and sound of the game goes. And the story seems interesting. The sword kind of talks to you, and it is reminiscent of the narrator from Bastion. But that's a good thing. Because that was a really good thing in Bastion. And I like sort of the dialogue and stuff that the sword says. The whole story and setup is so, like mysterious and intriguing in a way that a lot of video game stories and setups are not.
Yep.
I want to know like who this woman is, why she was targeted. She's like some singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just the whole setup was super interesting. I was like, oh man, I want to know. I want to find out.
And that soundtrack.
I want to know what's going on. And that soundtrack is amazing. I'm sure when she gets her voice back, it's going to lead to some awesome music.
Oh yes.
But I don't think I really understand. What is that noise?
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, I can't. Like, so there's these combat mechanics, and I know there's a system where you can kind of like freeze time and queue up several different moves and just sort of like unleash them all at once, and she does them, and you can do things like get behind enemies and get like extra backstab bonus. But I'm really, really confused. I don't understand where this game becomes like deep and interesting, like in terms of mechanics.
I don't think they've shown that yet.
Well, I played what they had, and they had 4 different like skills and abilities you can 4 different skills you could use, and I imagine you're not going to be able to map more than 4 skills. Because they're attached to the face buttons. So I feel like I had this full set of abilities, and I messed around with the combat enough, but I can't. I haven't quite figured out like what it's all about.
No, I don't think you're supposed to. I feel like this is a game.
I feel like on the surface it seems really interesting, but the more I messed around with it, the more I realized that nothing I was doing was really all that interesting or strategic or even all that fun. I was really confused, and I want this game to have like these deeper hooks that I'm somehow going to understand, eventually. But I'm just not seeing it, and I kind of want to go over to Greg Kasavin and say, like, show me, like, I want to see a developer of this game. Of this game, play the game.
I'm sure
because I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I know Greg Kasavin specifically is very, very knowledgeable about what makes a combat system good. Because
if you see him, just ask him. When I played this game, I felt like the combat is not one that's immediately obvious as far as like it's not something you can just jump into and be like, oh yeah, you just push this button to attack and go. So I feel like this demo was kind of intended to like hold your hand a little bit and just introduce you into the lighter side of the combat mechanics. I'm expecting this to get deeper.
I feel like there was a lot there. Like I had several attacks. I had that ability to stop time. There was like meters and shit, and I couldn't quite figure it out.
No, trust me. Even after
that's not even the right word. I feel like I did figure it out. I just don't understand why it was interesting.
And you don't know where it's going to go either. I thought it was interesting because I see a lot of potential there, but I'm not gonna I'm not going to fully embrace it until I see where they take it. But everything about that game was appealing to me in its potential to impress me.
So Gaberson in chat's talking shit about Bastion's like combat or gameplay, but I feel like in Bastion the combat was simple, but it had like satisfying feedback. Like its core mechanics were satisfying, and it was more about sort of movement, just twitch gameplay. That even if it wasn't the deepest systems, it was satisfying. Here, I'm not even finding like combat like interest. I mean, it's not even like fun to do. If anything, it's a little tedious, and I almost wish I could just sort of run up to them and sort of hack at them like fucking like Bastion style, because it seems like what I'm doing is supposed to feel powerful, but it actually feels like overlong and overly complicated. You know,
think the enemies need to be harder so that it becomes more you're forced to use.
Well,
that mechanic?
usually in this kind of game, it's like, well, you don't really understand the mechanics until you get to a really tough boss fight, and then you understand. Like, okay, you got to do things a certain way. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they threw like big enemies at you, and I still didn't get it. I didn't.
It's hard for me to comment too much on it because I haven't played it since PAX East.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I kind of had the same feeling when I played it. But
just if somebody in chat knows of any like videos of one of the developers playing the game, please link it, and I'll watch it later because I'm a little lost here. Mm-hmm. But that's that. I mean, I was expecting going. And being blown away, and I was surprised coming out of that how more puzzled than anything I was.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about today?
I'll talk about Wolfenstein tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wolfenstein tomorrow.
I've covered everything I have.
I'll just say Loco Cycle sucks.
Okay.
So
we can just leave it at that.
Even
it's
though
a steaming pile of shit.
Even though I'm no Twisted Pixel hater, I will confirm that Loco Cycle does kind of suck.
Okay.
I
confirmed.
I could talk about Splinter Cell Blacklist, but I'm not certain if I don't know if y'all are going to play tomorrow at all.
I'll try it tomorrow. How's that?
Although
I think maybe two of us should go over there and play it.
I think you should actually.
We'll give it a shot.
I think
I will at least go over there and try it.
Yeah.
I can give you my word.
I played some Battlefield 4. I played about 5 minutes of that.
You said something weird, real quick about Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
You said there's a couple of changes, so crouch is now B button instead of clicking the stick down.
It's more a Call of Duty style control scheme.
Yeah, which is fine because I think I mentioned I'm okay with that being standardized.
Yeah.
Because I would always, if I played some Call of Duty and then played some Battlefield 4, I would continually get the crouch wrong.
Yeah.
For a while.
I completely understand.
So I'm okay with that.
Controller standardization like that, I'm okay with sometimes. What I'm not okay with is, at least in my current build and what I was playing, there were a lot of bugs, and I mean bugs that hurt the game.
But if you remember the Battlefield 3 beta that everyone played, how buggy that fucking thing was?
Not to this degree.
Really? Because there was people flopping, flooping, and fleeping. Their
I'm
legs
not
are
talking
going
about
crazy.
graphical glitches or shit like that. I'm talking about actual gameplay problems.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when I started the map, it spawned me in as the pilot of a helicopter, which, first off, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because I can't pilot shit. But I could switch seats, but it wouldn't let me leave the chopper. In fact, throughout my entire experience, when I could spawn into a vehicle, I could never leave a vehicle.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
But
Even when I switched to keyboard and mouse. And then when I tried to enter a vehicle, I never could. And that doesn't make sense to me.
Are you sure you don't know the enter and exit of the vehicle button?
It was E.
Okay.
It tells you press E to enter vehicle.
Yeah.
I pressed E, not happening. I did it with a controller, not happening.
Weird.
I don't know what was going on with that.
The thing is, this game's going to come out. You're going to buy it. You know that's going to be fixed.
I know.
So it's kind of like a non-issue.
But in its current state, you're showing this to press and media, and
it's not like
thousands of
shit,
people.
this game's going to be.
Those sound like
it hurts your
some
experience.
pretty big bugs, though.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Those are.
It's also
damn near
pre-alpha,
game-breaking.
and they're not letting the public play it.
Yeah, but
Except for
pre-alpha.
the Mudbloods.
But they're not letting the Mudbloods.
Pre-alpha, at
everyone's
least
playing
you have
Yeah,
that
no, they're just letting
fixed.
there's a
You have
giant
that
line, everyone's
working.
getting
But I will say
Stop
the
saying.
gunplay, the gunplay feels good. The ability to have multiple sights on a weapon actually kind of changes up combat sometimes. the commander element is actually pretty nifty.
Nice.
I'm glad this is returning.
Mhm.
Granted, I never got to experience it previously, but I like this. And the map is kind of cool. I did get some confirmation about the thing that blew everybody's fucking minds at the EA press conference, which was the building that could come down, which that wasn't related to like an invisible health bar or anything, which you just shoot the building anywhere and they'll eventually come down. You actually have to take out support pillars within it in order for that sequence, that trigger to begin.
Right.
Okay.
So
So
you have to hit in specific places. Like
Yeah.
these specific support pillars have to be taken out first.
But the point being is that when you take out the struts, the building will collapse. Anyone on top of the building or anyone standing directly underneath the building will
You
be
won't
crushed
die.
or killed. Yes.
Yeah.
And that, that in and of itself is pretty awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it makes me wonder what else they have in store as far as set piece, like multiplayer.
Well,
set
you know,
pieces
I mean, when Battlefield 3 came out, one of the first trailers for Battlefield 3 was a giant building coming down, and everyone was really disappointed because in the actual game,
Yeah.
you never really see, or multiplayer anyway, you never able to take down a huge
I
building.
mean, it came down an interesting cinematic way, but that was what it was.
But it was
purely
also
cinematic.
single player too.
Yeah.
It was single cinematic, so they had to put something like that in Battlefield 4 in the
Yeah.
multiplayer. Just to,
You know, Cosmic and Chat says, "Can all buildings do it?" And we don't have to ask them that question. There's no way. Like this is
Yeah.
a set piece in that specific.
It's a
map.
set piece, for that specific map. They say that in the pre-game briefing, which they play like 4 trailers just to reinforce that. Hey, it's fucking Battlefield. It's coming out October 29th. Fucking buy it.
That's,
You know,
that's
but-
actually really soon.
But yeah, it is. There's 3 games coming out that day, man. But it for my 5-minute experience, it was fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. All right. So I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it tonight. We have some work to do before we go to bed. And tomorrow is the final day of E3, so we'll be spending the last day on the show floor tomorrow. So expect another podcast tomorrow night with our final impressions of the show. We'll be giving out some booth awards tomorrow, some of our favorite games at the show. So we'll let you know what those were tomorrow evening. And we had a few videos that were supposed to go up today that unfortunately did not go up, but they're going up soon.
They got borked, and they'll start uploading tonight.
but we did get two or three that did go up today. So check those out on our
Yeah.
on our YouTube channel.
And then we have more videos going up tomorrow, including the interview we did with the game director from CD Projekt Red, as well as impressions for Zelda and a few other things we recorded today.
Yep.
So check those out. We have another video log going up as well with some we did a little shaky cam, Brad cam tour of the show floor today.
Yep.
So look for that. And I think that's all we got. So thanks everybody for watching over at 4pp.tv. As always, keep your eyes on the site for more impressions, news, videos, and whatnot from E3 2013. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow.